Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Niger Knows. My name is Nika. I am now one of 3 hosts of the show. Yay! So
Hey!
Yay! Which they were on the first they were on the first 2 episodes that I did. So now they are back. We decided to join forces and make this something beautiful and magical. Yay! So this is our first one together.
Yes.
So a lot has happened since last time I recorded, which was May of last year, plus since the other ones that we did little test runs on. So a lot has happened. We've had an election, we had a insurrection, and white people acting crazy. So let's talk about it. What's going on? How do you guys?
White people being sore losers.
Yeah.
That part.
On.
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
It's a coup. No, you try to install your newest, your latest and greatest version of Hitler, and it didn't work.
It's not home.
Y'all went on the bottom shelf and was like, this is close enough. We're gonna try to install this $2 version of Hitler, and then that's what happened.
Exactly. So I'm happy that the Cheeto is gone. He didn't stay for the inauguration. We didn't need him to.
Bye.
I'm so happy that he did not. I'm actually really happy that he didn't show up, because he would have been nothing but a distraction and a deterrent to like the whole affair. Like I'm glad Pence showed up, because at least Pence is like a survivalist. Pence was, I think, happy to either be like the new dictator's new lieutenant, or be like, okay, that's not gonna work out. I need to at least make sure that I have a career after all of this is done. So he showed up. Awkward and real hurt apparently, but he showed up like you're supposed to. Like when you win and lose, like that's how it's supposed to happen.
Even though he caused so much chaos as a president, you don't think he should have at least been there?
Not this one.
Because you're supposed to be welcoming in. I mean, Obama did it for him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I think you have to look at his entire presidency, even before during the time he was running, right? He's not that guy. Like, he just isn't. The whole welcoming the new president, that's out of tradition. It's not required. It's not written into law. And he's not that dude. He's just not. So yeah, I feel like I'm like Tori. I feel like it's better. Bye. Go play.
Okay.
I'm cool you weren't there.
Go.
Well, he spent his whole presidency making the presidency about himself.
He made it a mockery.
He made a mockery, but he made it about himself. He made it not about the people. He made it actually not about the country. He made it about himself and his own personality and he tried to push himself up to a level above the people and above the country. Right. Whereas everybody else is like, yeah, I'm like Obama, and even George Bush was like, yeah, I'm president, but I'm president of this country, and everything that happens and everything that I'm doing is for this country. I'm representing United States. Trump came out and said, I'm representing myself, and you just happen to be on my coattails, United States.
Typical textbook narcissist.
Megalomaniac.
And what I don't understand is I wish somebody could explain to me what the obsession is, because it's not like, oh my God, it's an obsession. It's a sick obsession. What is this obsession with this man? Right. I don't get it.
You and I talked about that, right? So, and I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. Like, I understand as a white person, particularly white male, when you are used to seeing yourself pretty much everywhere, and most of the time you're the dominant one, right? And so now at this point, things are changing. There's women, there's minorities, there's, the LGBT in these places where you're used to only seeing yourself. So you may feel in some sort of way that something is being taken from you. I draw the analogy to when I had to tell my older son that I was pregnant. First thing out of his mouth was, he's going to play with my toys. He immediately started thinking about what's his, somebody taking his stuff, right? So it's a similar in that childlike mentality where it's like, oh shoot, I'm losing something. Really, they're not losing anything, but they see it as losing something instead of losing something. Yeah, so it's like I can somewhat understand that grasp for so-called what they think is control or power, not to lose their spot. What I don't understand, to your point, Felicia, is how is it you figure that Donald Trump was the man that's going to get, secure your spot? Like, what has he said that made you think like, yeah, this is the guy? This is the guy? Like, no.
But it's more about his personality. And there was a study that I was reading a little while ago, and I'll have to find, you know, a couple things and links, but it's a study to show that like this whole movement to follow somebody like Trump had been put in effect way before Trump got here. So when you had like super far right grassroots, quote unquote, come through, you had people studying the social aspect of that. And what it was is like, to your point, Nikki, at that time, the grassroots people were starting to see things change. They were starting to see more color where there wasn't color, where they grew up where there was no color but themselves seen anywhere. And that correlated with the uneasiness of not feeling like the America that they were used to. And then you have that bubbling and boiling underneath for all these years. And then you have somebody like Trump, who, it's not necessarily him, it's just the fact that he gives them that outlet to say the most ridiculous things. So not so much that, and he has the personality to cover up their daddy issues for it as well. And so they grasp onto that, like, oh, it's a bully who's saying what he wants to say. Not that they know good and well he's not intelligent. They know good and well that he doesn't sound intelligent, that he's not putting forth he's not a presentable president. They just like the fact that he's an excuse to say what they really feel without being shamed about it. He gave them that outlet. And now, and so because all these years, but because all these years they've had to keep themselves somewhat in check. They've had to be somewhat polite. They've had to keep a lot of what they were feeling inside. And now you have somebody that's like, no, let the hate out, you know, in so many words. And now they're like, oh, we can say that now.
We can do that.
Or I've been feeling this too, and I hate mixed Cheerio commercial couples. I hate them. Because now they have a president that's like, that makes them feel comfortable enough to say some shit like that. And they want to hold on to that feeling of being able to really say what's like in their gut out loud, and not feel like they're going to be charged or judged for it. When, I mean, obviously they're always going to be judged for it, but
just like the one lady in that one video, Trump.
Oh no, that lady, give me all them tears. I will eat them tears for breakfast. Sprinkle them tears like sprinkles on my ice cream. Put it in my cereal. I won't give me them tears. I want them. Please give me them. Yeah, you don't understand how ridiculous you all look. It's like the sorest of like turnarounds. And for the people that I knew that were like, well, you know, the vote was rigged, it was rigged, and it's like, it's never going to be to your satisfactory unless it's a turnaround that you won. You will never accept the fact that you lost.
And then the other part is, it's only rigged in the states that you lost, so everybody else was good.
Everybody else was cool.
And then the other part is, which I forget who I was listening to that pointed out, if it's rigged, that means all of it was rigged, right? Because it's one, exactly. You go in there and you vote for president, you vote for Senate, you vote for your local stuff. So that means you redo everybody. So even the Republicans that either were reelected or new ones, you know, that means all of them were rigged. All of it. We should just clear them all out and start over if that's the case. Like, it makes sense. Like, y'all, come on. And when I saw that video, I'm like, this lady cannot be serious. This got to be a joke. This has to be a joke. Because I don't understand.
Thing. But they still got votes, which is scary. So yes, we won. Yeah, the Democratic side won. And not to say that Democrats are perfect, because by no means they are not perfect whatsoever. There's a whole list. That's a whole nother show.
There's flaws
that we can go through that. But you can't have a party that gives breath and space to racism. That's not a political issue. That's a moral issue. Yeah, so I don't care what you got on your platform. If you have space for white terrorists in your party, even if most of you are just like, they're just over there. But no, but if you pull up a chair for them, if they can sit at your table, even if you have them at the kiddie table, I don't have space for you. You're not a viable scene for me.
Right. And then like Felicia, you and I talked about the other part, like the stupidity, the way I see it. Or no, it wasn't me. It was somebody, child, because I've been talking about this. You know, it shows the stupidity of both sides, right? So it shows the stupidity of the people that are following Trump, because they see this as their guy, whatever. He's dumb. Let's just put it out there. He's dumb. The other part is it shows the stupidity of Trump, because you're expecting these people to now uplift you up, right? As a dictator. All they did was tear shit up like they do at football games. That's all they did. That's what happens when you got a bunch of, and I think I told this to you, Felicia. Anyway, this is what happens when you have freaking Gomer Pyle, Barney Fife, Elmer McFudd, and a couple of step and fetches as your soldiers. Don't nothing happen. Don't nothing happen. You end up killing the people that you claim to love. Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter, and y'all killing police. Like, really?
No, because it was never about Blue Lives Matter. Yeah. Blue Lives Matter. The only reason why most of that platform even jumped on to Blue Lives Matter is because it felt and sounded like a rebuttal to Black Lives Matter. Right. Their only concern was that they needed a rebuttal for Black Lives Matter, and so they snatched up one day. Exactly, they were just trying to get a leg up and be like, well, if you say Black Lives Matter, then Blue Lives Matter. Bitch, there are no blue lives. Everybody bleeds red, and we are either black, white, yellow, or however you want to categorize it. There are no blue lives. That's an occupation that you signed up for. That's not
nobody made you sign up to be an officer.
It's an occupation.
We came out like this, okay? This is how we
go home and take this off and decide I want to put it on today or I don't. It doesn't work. I don't get to take PTO days, vacation days. Like, it don't happen that way. It does not happen that way at all. This is 100% 24/7. It does not scratch off. I guess you can try to bleach it off. Whatever Michael Jackson, what he had vitiligo, I guess. Whatever. You can try that. It just, but he's still a black man. We still saw him as a black man despite his really white skin.
But yeah, but it's not, they don't care about the police. They just care about any kind of rebuttal for Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. And we just had Martin Luther King Day come through. And I know a lot of people, and I was happy to see that a lot of people really put forth the effort to say, please don't just pick and choose the whitewashed quotes from MLK. Don't just pick the ones that you feel like you can twist into touting, and what do you call it? A negative piece. Mm-hmm. Negative piece is just another form of slavery. You just want us to continue to be quiet and to be malleable to what you want. That's not peace. That's still submissive, passive aggressive slavery. You can't, so don't pick and choose.
Because he was considered, he considered himself nonviolent. People think that he's just like they do with Jesus, peaceful, meek and mild man that's just marching down. They were getting dog sicked on them. They were getting thrown. How many times was he thrown in jail? He was a revolutionary. However,
he was assassinated. He didn't die peacefully on stage, y'all. He was assassinated.
He was shot. They took him to the hospital. Some story I read or listened to the other day, I guess it was his lawyer. Somebody on his team said that they actually killed him, like he was alive. And the doctor at the hospital was like, kill that N-word. And they put a pillow over his face or something. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, we know he was killed. We know that.
Well, he had a 67% disapproval rating for the country while he was alive. He wasn't a popular person while he was alive.
Not at all.
You want to say in quote, well, Dr. Martin Luther King.
The whole idea too, where people are like, oh, turn the other cheek, and I'll say, no, sorry, fuck that. Turn the other cheek is a quote used for racists so that they can keep repeating their bad behavior. Anybody that wants an excuse to repeat their bad behavior will tell you to turn the other cheek. No, you're gonna get one. You got one cheek. You're not gonna get the other cheek. You got to say something. But that's a tactic used to keep people to just keep bad behavior alive. No, I'm not turning the other cheek. No, it's not going to get quiet. No, you're going to keep hearing it and keep giving me this squeaky wheel some oil until rotating like the other wheels. Like, that's how.
I'm like Shannon Sharp. He said I don't remember how long ago. It was like probably a couple of years ago. He's staying on his show on ESPN it comes on, or Fox Sports anyway. And he was saying, like, I don't have no more cheeks. At the end of the day, like, after a while, I'm going to tell you to stop hitting me. I'm not going to keep turning my cheek while you steady slapping. Now I'm going to butt you back in your face, period.
And then they want to be all shocked and appalled that you said something or that you reacted.
Like my Caleb, my 7-year-old, he's telling me, oh, mommy, such and such hit me at school. Mommy, such and such hit me. So after like the third time I'm telling him that, I'm telling him, okay, did you tell the teacher? Yes. Did you? And the kid keeps doing it. All right, so Caleb, what you do this time is you knock his ass out.
You hit him back.
Period.
Just clock him.
Pop him.
He'll leave you alone. And when the kid came up in his face and Caleb dared him to hit him, the kid didn't even touch him.
And you know, the sad part about that is when we do stuff like that, when we have to instill stuff like that in our children, and then that's when we're looked at as being aggressive and violent.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been provoked for fucking centuries. We have been provoked.
This has been going on since America started. To be quite honest, it's been like this whole time. It hasn't changed. It's come in different forms sometimes. It's not as overt sometimes these days.
That doesn't mean it's gone.
Exactly. It does not mean it's gone. Because I've heard comments and I'll be like, from people that I know, and I'm like, really? That's interesting. Never knew you thought.
It's crazy that you still have to tell people that. So I'm traveling and I'm in an Airbnb, and the father of like the host of this particular Airbnb that I'm in, he is a pastor, very nice gentleman. He came in, I met him, and he just outright said it. He's just like, he's like, I thought we were over this. I thought that, everything was taking, he's like, I didn't think that it was like that. He's like, I'm old. He's like, and I just didn't realize that this was still racism was still a problem. I thought it was over with. And I was like, well, just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that it's not happening.
What bubble?
And he just, he was like, okay, but you have to, okay, so you do have to, there are bubbles everywhere. If you never leave your bubble, you never know. And for white people in particular, who don't have the problems, it's very hard to get a hold of things that you can't fathom.
Right.
Not to say that alleviates you from any responsibility of figuring out if you realize there's a problem. Yeah, that's your responsibility now to go out then and educate yourself. But for him, he was just like, I've gone, and he's a pastor, so he's like, I've gone out and tried to do my best to help in these situations and to help in these neighborhoods and things like that. He was just having a very open conversation, which I appreciated. And I was like, no, and I was like, and for whatever you did, if you did it with a good heart, obviously that's much appreciated, but that doesn't mean that it's gone. I was like, and the methods may have changed, the way that it shows up may have changed, but that doesn't mean that it's gone. And I was like, and unfortunately, you're going to keep hearing about it until it gets fixed. Even if it makes you personally uncomfortable, we're going to keep making noise about it, because otherwise it all stays the same. You may be comfortable now that it's quiet, but now we're still suffering in silence. That doesn't make that any better. And he was like, you got a good point. He's like,
that part is never going to go away. It's going to be a constant issue.
Yeah, but we have to be willing to keep talking about it.
Because of the bubble, right? Because a lot of, and even some white people that I know, because they do have Black friends that they genuinely love, right? So they, like you said, they don't realize that it's a problem. Well, you have to think about how your Black friend is living. Just because y'all get along doesn't mean how they operate in the world the rest of the time is, like it is with just when it's y'all hanging out. It's completely different. They have to operate in the world differently. And like you said, Tori, it's hard for people to sort of, grasp that and try to look at it from someone else's perspective and realize like, oh, wow, this really is a continuing issue. I will say, though, since I'll probably say Trump was president for 4 years. So the last probably 2 years, what I have noticed is when I go places, because y'all know my name, Adinika, I have noticed that white people, in particular, Black people, that's a whole nother topic about how we be talking about Africans amongst ourselves. But white people, I have noticed, have taken like an extra effort to make sure they say my name correctly. I went to get a massage in Brandon, and I had signed up online or called or whatever, and when I got there, and I called to check in, because of COVID or whatever, so you got to check in and stuff first, and they come out, and I went in, and the lady was like, how do you say your name? And I said it. She's like, say it again. And I mean, she tried. She didn't get it perfect, obviously most people don't, but she tried. She's like, no, I just wanted to make sure I got your name right. And I was like, I appreciate that. At work,
effort is appreciated.
Yeah, even at work now, they started calling me Nick Cat. I'm like, thank you. I put that in the chat. Thank you for using my real name. I appreciate that, because it's really annoying to have to keep saying my name all the time. Like, forget it, Nikki, So I have noticed for the ones that, do see things differently or want things to be different or want to be better, they have, made, the effort in whatever that little way is, which I, like you said, I appreciate. Whether it's conversation or just the little things like saying my name right, or even trying to say my name right.
Simple. Yeah.
Simple.
Like small things make a huge difference.
We're all human. Like literally all of this racism, it's literally only based on how much melanin I have in my skin.
Exactly.
I have more than, a white person does.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And it's something you can't help. You can't help you were born white. I can't help I was born black. That's just how it happens.
And at the end of the day, we're all going somewhere. We all have to leave our physical bodies at some point. Nobody's getting out of that. So we all are on the same journey in that aspect.
I think we want to be able to provide for our families. We want our children to be happy. We want them to grow up and be able to, function in the world however it is that they need to. So at the end of the day, we really all want the same thing too. So it's like,
I think the problem is everybody is so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Nobody wants discomfort. Unfortunately, there has been plenty of discomfort in plenty of, communities, Black, people of color, anybody that basically comes to this country that's not white. There's a level of like automatic discomfort that happens. And I think people are more afraid to touch that comfort level, to touch that nerve, to kind of like move it out the way just because of the pain that it's going to inflict. Because for most part, it's not, we talk in hyperbole, we talk in like grand gestures and, kind of like in sweeping wording, and we say like white people, you don't do this, and white people do this, and it's just like, well, no, it's not so much now at this fact. You obviously you don't own slaves, but you are benefiting off of something that was started from a very malicious point of like starting point. Right. And you don't, and instead of improving upon that to rectify that, you continue to build upon that. And wherein lies the problem. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations down, you're benefiting and sitting high on it while, everybody else is trailing far behind you. And when those people say, hey, can we fix this? And now you're like, well, yeah, you're attacking me. And it's like, no, we're not attacking you. We're attacking the system that you're benefiting from because it was created off of our backs, but we don't get the benefit like you do. So all we're asking is that you kind of bring things kind of back to the middle so that we all have the same opportunity to move forward in the best way that we can. Right. And not that we hate you, not that we hate all white, because no, there's there's nothing wrong with white people, just like there's nothing wrong with Black people, there's nothing wrong with Latin people. It's the mentality. It's the mentality that is attached to it, and it's the uncomfort of possibly unwinding that, that system to create something a little bit new, and that's scary. And then when you don't feel it, you don't know it. It's like looking at somebody with sickle cell and being like, oh, you don't look hurt. You don't look like you hurt. And looking at someone with fibromyalgia, you don't look like you, or you look fine. I'm not hurting like that. So I don't understand why you're saying you're hurting like that. And it's like, no, that person's actually hurting, but just because you don't hurt like that doesn't mean that person see it. Or can't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Privilege as having money, having status, having class. And I was reading something, it was a meme or something, but it was very true. White privilege is not meaning that you grew up rich. You could be poor just like I was poor, but it just means that you don't have to operate in the world at a deficit because of your skin color.
Just like what happened at the Capitol. That was the epitome of white privilege. Because if
those people are working class, middle class, lower middle class, low class, that hit a whole range of folks just for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
Quick thing. So I remember at the very beginning you said something about like white men like truly hanging on to Trump. Actually, the percentage is higher for white women that voted for Trump. It was like 80-something% of like white women voted for Trump, and then it was 70-something%.
I don't understand that, because he degraded women.
Daddy issues. It's, if you read their studies, there's social studies done about that link to like daddy issues and what he represents in that realm. It's crazy. It's the psychological like backflip split is
it doesn't even make sense.
The ones that call themselves Christians, the so-called evangelical Christians that also support him. I mean, if anything, this Trump thing shows that a lot of them are just full of crap. It's strictly about access being able to say, I went to the White House and all this Jesus, blah, blah. Like, y'all full of it, because ain't no way if Jesus was here on earth that you're going to tell me that you'd be talking about it the same way. Because when Jesus was here, guess who he was associated with? The ones that they was calling prostitutes and thieves, the ones that were, so-called the, lower class of society. That's who he hung out with. And he was not white. So all this, and what's her name? Paula White, that calling on the angels of Africa. Like, really? What you thought was going to happen? You going to call up the ancestors you thought they was going to come help Trump win? Like, really?
Right. Wrong color ancestors.
And I won't lie. Like, I'm a person that is very, like, even my mom used to tell me, I'm like, my mom would say it was the Holy Spirit. But when I watched that video the first time, like, the hair stood up on my arms. I was like, no, and I turned it off. She not praying to who she says she praying to. I don't know what she said.
I don't know who she praying to.
Let me turn this off, because she talking something else and it's crazy. But again, she was wrong. Obviously, she was wrong anyway. I'll call the angels of Africa. I call the angels of South America. You really honestly think they're gonna come help Trump?
But first of all, who you talking to?
Right?
Like them, even if you was calling on the angels of Africa, them not your ancestors. That's the wrong group.
Right.
That's the
Looking
wrong
like,
group.
who is this woman?
Right. They all clicking their teeth like, this bitch. You hear her trying to call. You finna go outside? No, I ain't going outside. I'm not talking to that bitch. You heard her. I'm not.
Oh. What?
Check your phone real quick. But yeah, that was crazy to me. Like, this lady, yeah, she done lost her mind. Franklin Graham, a bunch of them, that even ones like remember my mom used to watch all the time. Kenneth Copeland. Like, wow, if she were here, I wonder what she. Well, no, I know what she would say.
I'm happy. I will say, watching the inauguration, I didn't realize how much as a country collectively we were holding our collective breath for the last 4 years. How uptight and tense we all were for 4 years. And to watch the inauguration, I think everybody, regardless of whether you voted for Biden or not, I think everybody took a deep breath, because it's like, okay, now we can watch the news for actual political things now. The worst thing that can happen is they're like, oh, Biden put a Peloton in the White House. And they're afraid that there's security issues. That's what I want to hear. Give me that.
Yeah, thank God I can watch the news again. Oh my God.
Yes, I have been unable to listen to the news without my stomach tearing up in pieces. Like, I haven't. The last 4 years has just been like, okay, I already know I'm just not gonna vote for that. And then just called it a day. Like, I couldn't stomach the news, because it wasn't about the government. It was about him, and I was tired of him. I wanted to hear about us.
Yes.
All of them was like, thank God. Oh my gosh, this is over.
Oh, I've had some international friends reach out and be like, ooh, thank God. y'all okay?
Y'all all right over there? You all right?
Checking in, like, ooh, what's going on? It's like watching the Kardashians. Are you guys okay? And I'm like, look, no, we're fine. Don't.
Thinking like, ladies, we just completed our first episode. So much more to come. We want to talk about more, but we ran out of time, but that's all good. But again, I'm so happy that I decided to bring you guys with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have more to come. Our episodes will be nice and revamped, and we'll talk about current events. We'll talk about issues. We'll talk about funny stuff. Love,
laugh, jokes,
sex, jokes. Yes, the jokes.
Ooh, sex.
Yes.
Oh God, sorry.
There will be
already. She had to throw that in
there.
Freak.
She's a freak, y'all.
Apparently, I'm not the only freak in the group.
Yes. Say what now?
I said, apparently, I'm not the only freak in the group.
No, by the way, we're all
Scorpios. We just,
Oh, that's right. We all are Scorpios.
Yeah.
Oh.
We are marvelous. We are wonderful.
Wow, all of our birthdays are 3 days. 3 days. Well, you're
17th,
my 21st. So 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be good, y'all.
But hey, y'all, she the oldest though.
Really?
We just threw that all the way out there.
Like, really? She always gotta try to call somebody old. You right behind me. What are you talking about?
But we ain't talking about me though.
We all in our 30s. We're just
Yeah.
We all grown. We put it that way.
We all grown.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for listening if you're listening and watching if you're watching. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.